Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Home is Now. And Home is Now is an NHT podcast geared towards getting you home ready. Today we're talking about something that a lot of people are whispering about. Co-applying. Some people think of it as desperation or settling, but what if it's actually strategic? So let's unpack what it really means, how it works in the NHT's context, and whether or not it makes sense to actually co-apply. My guests today are Miss Connie Dennis, Star Girl, NHT Marketing Officer, and Mrs. Kalila Enriquez Reynolds, other Star Girl, CEO and founder of Money Media. Hello, ladies.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the pod. So let's get into it. Kalila, let's start with you. Why do you think that co-applying has a stigma attached to it?
I think it has this stigma because in Jamaica, culturally, a lot of people value independence.
Yeah.
You have to be a strong, independent person. And also, people feel like, oh, if they co-apply, that means they can't do it on their own. They're not financially sound. They're not financially savvy.
Yeah.
But I see it as quite the opposite. So by co-applying, it can be a very smart, strategic plan, just like you mentioned in your introduction. It's a sound financial strategy to get further. And there's so many benefits of co-applying. And as a matter of fact, when you look globally, maybe not necessarily co-applying, but pooling resources is a very common financial strategy. When you look at cities where it's very expensive to live, like New York, it is very common for people to have roommates. So sharing the financial burden with somebody else is a pretty smart plan.
I think so too. I think so too. And why, I mean, it feels like it would make sense and it's pretty obvious, but why would you say combining income specifically for a mortgage makes sense?
Right. So there are several positives to combining that income. One, it gives you a larger pool to draw from. So you can buy more house, for example. If you can only afford a 1-bedroom on your own, maybe combined you can afford a 2-bedroom or, you know, whatever it is that you need or your family needs. So that's one. Two, it makes you look better on paper. So it reduces the debt to income ratio. If you're using 2 incomes and a smaller debt, it makes it look like you have more room to afford that mortgage. There's several things that just make it beneficial to co-applying.
Yeah. Nice. And what are some mistakes that you think people make when looking for a co-applicant?
So
is everybody a qualified co-applicant?
So I think the biggest mistake is choosing your co-applicant based on emotion. Oh, it's my friend, or it's my family member, me and them tight. And so it's just going to make a good partner. But that's not necessarily the case. You have to think of your co-applicant as a financial partner and a business partner. So you have to think of that person rather than just saying, oh, it's my friend and we get along well and you trust them. Trust is important, but it's not just trust. Is it, will this person be a good business partner for me? And if you don't think they would be a good business partner, then that's a mistake. And then the other mistake people make is not thinking long-term and not having those long-term discussions early on. So you're not deciding amongst yourself, no, what will we do if one of us moves out? Or if we decide that we need to sell this property, how are we going to manage that? Is this going to be a 50-50 split? You go into it with a lot of assumptions rather than having those difficult decisions early.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned conversations that need to be had. One of them is how to split the property, should we dissolve? But what are some of the other things that co-applicants need to talk about before they sign the papers?
Right. So you need to be completely transparent at the very beginning. So have that discussion about what is your income. As I tell you, the assumptions come in. You feel like this person have money. They look like they have money. That doesn't necessarily mean that they have a strong income. Or it may mean that they have a lot of expenses and so might not be able to afford their share. So have that transparency laid out all on the table. What are your debt levels? What is your credit score? These are the conversations that need to be had before you get into a financial arrangement or a business decision with somebody.
Nice. Thanks, Kalila.
You're welcome.
Connie, let's talk a little bit about the NHT side of things. When it comes to NHT, what does co-applying look like? Only me and one person, me and 2 people, me and 5 people? How does it work?
So with NHT, when you look at co-applying, it's about pooling resources together. You can pool it one person or two-person. So by pooling your resources, the amount you get to borrow to buy a house or a land, it increases the loan limit.
So I can have up to 3 co-applicants
You-
on a loan.
It would be you and two other persons.
people. Yeah.
However, you and one person may co-apply. You don't need to be related in this instance.
Cool.
But once we look at 2 other persons, you must be related. There must be that kinship ties,
So not my
family
god sister?
members. No, not your god sister. We look at closer relative, where we can do, the proof of relationship. We look at your parents, your brothers and sisters, your sibling, which is your siblings.
Yeah.
And we also look at your children or spouse, married or common law. So if it's a case that you're not married, no need to worry. We'll look at your common law partner just the same.
Nice, nice. And does co-applying increase your eligibility potential or just how much money I get?
Definitely. Co-applying increases your eligibility potential. It increases how much you get to borrow, and it also increases your loan term. As a single applicant, you will only be able to get up to $9 million. Double applicant, you will get up to $17 million, and triple applicant, this is where the family member comes into place.
Yeah.
You'll get up to $23 million. Not just that, we look at the youngest person's age to determine how long you get to repay the loan. So there's another benefit when you co-apply.
So if my mommy and daddy and me co-apply, you're looking at my age. For
Definitely, we're looking at your age.
Nice.
And just say you're 30 or under, you will get a maximum loan term of up to 40 years in this instance.
Okay.
So it does work out better when you co-apply.
So when we have co-applicants, Connie, how do we calculate how much money we repay, interest rate, stuff like that? Because I know that's based on your income, but now you're looking at 2 or even 3 incomes. So what are we doing?
What we'll do, we'll look at the average income for all parties. So whatever your gross weekly income is, we'll look at the average. That will help to determine the interest rate, whether it is 0% or a maximum of up to 5%. We'll look at that and the younger person's age to determine how long you get to repay. So using the younger person's age, it will increase your chances of getting that full $23 million. Once it is 3 persons and for 2 persons, we'll look at that to get the $17 million. When it comes on to the repayment, we can do the repayment. Maybe you can decide to, I'll take on, see that I'm earning a little bit more, I'll take on the bulk of the mortgage. Or we can split the payment between the 3 persons, 2 persons equally, or we'll split it based on how much we would have been able to get as an individual.
Okay.
So we have options when it comes on to determining the
Sounds
payment.
pretty flexible.
Very flexible.
So Connie, can I only apply if I am home buying? What if I want to build? I can co-apply for that too?
Definitely. So you're not limited to just buying. You can get up to the $17 million to buy the house. If you're looking to buy a land, 2 persons will get up to $7 million. 3 persons, $10.5 million. And then we look at the building aspects.
Yeah.
1 person would have gotten a maximum of 11, but when you're co-applying, you'll get the difference of $10 million to build. 3 persons, you'll get the difference of $12.5 million to build. And based on what you plan on building, once it is 3 persons, it must be a 2-bedroom or more.
So it seems when you co-apply, you get more money.
Definitely, you do. And you look at the loan term.
Yeah.
You get a better loan term. And sometimes the interest rate is even better when we find the average of all persons' income.
Right. And if I wanted to explore a home improver or smart energy product, that double money still work there, so too?
Definitely.
Okay.
For the home improvement, only 2 persons in this instance will be able to co-apply.
Okay.
$5 million for a single applicant, and 2 persons, you'll get up to $10 million. Nice. And that's a lot of improvement you can do with $10 million.
Yeah.
And for the smart energy loan, an individual will get up to $2.5 million, 2 persons, $5 million.
Money.
More money.
That's good. That's good. And so I want to ask both of you your thoughts about co-applying, right? When would you say it doesn't make sense, Kalila? Is there an instance where maybe you shouldn't co-apply?
Yeah, when the other person is not financially responsible. The other person don't really have the money. If the other person has terrible spending habits, they have bad credit, yeah, do not co-apply with that person.
Yeah. So beyond just what you see on paper here, maybe they have the money, but maybe you realize
Their
that they kind of
habits.
spend a little.
Their habits. They
So maybe
make
not.
them an unreliable partner.
Yeah. Cool.
Because when month end come and it's time to pay that mortgage,
Where's the money, sir?
Where's your
or
share?
Mom. Or mom.
Where is your share?
Yeah.
Up in the air? How can I get it? Climb on a chair? No, that's not what you want to hear.
Not the vibe. Not the vibe. Connie, how about you? When did you say it don't really make sense?
It wouldn't be ideal when you can purchase this property on your own. You're financially stable. What you're looking to buy is within the loan limits. It is within your reach. You have enough savings. You wouldn't need to look at co-applying at that time.
Yeah, solid. Thank you so much, ladies.
Well, I just wanted to add one more thing that I forgot to mention earlier, which is when you co-apply, you also get to spread the financial risk and the responsibility among somebody else. And additionally, you may be able to enter the housing market sooner. So you save time. Because if you're there waiting and saving and saving and saving, and it's going to take you a long time to get to that goal of home ownership, it might bring you there faster if you pool resources with somebody else.
Nice. Here is not me say it is Kalila, Miss Money Media. So thank you so much, ladies, for the insights. So home ownership isn't about ego, it's about execution. And if there's a strategy like co-applying that can get you there faster, why not use it? This has been Home is Now. If you want to stay connected or learn more, then like, share, subscribe, but also stay connected on all our platforms for more tips, insights, and general ways to get you home faster.